I've never experienced that first high. Leyo high yokuqala was the best. And every time I've used subsequently after that was chasing that feeling. So we has, you know?
Sure.
It's embarrassing for you now.
It's embarrassing.
I've lost 14 years of my life.
How many?
We're 14 years of my
14.
life. Yeah.
Damn.
I blocked it out of my head, but it came out in my last rehab. It's awful.
It is awful.
Because I tried to mend a relationship with a father who didn't want me.
Welcome to Choose Life, the podcast. I'm your host, Abna Mariri, author, survivor, and changemaker. Each episode delves into victorious stories over addiction. We bring hope and actionable guidance to those on this journey. Choose transformation with us. Choose victory. Choose life.
Today, we are privileged to have an incredible individual. Our guest is beloved comedian, television presenter, and actor extraordinaire who has captured the hearts of South Africans. Throughout his career, he has become a household name, bringing laughter and joy to countless of people. I am thrilled to bring to you, wherever you are, the one and only, Trevor Gumbi.
Yo, I want an intro. What an intro. Yo, okay, no, Paroban. Oh, okay, now I can see why you wrote a book.
But let me tell you, I've got an incredible, I won't take credit, I've got an incredible creative director, Sive. She's brilliant.
Oh, good.
You know, so she her attention to detail, Chief, I can go on and on.
Right.
But you're asking me who wrote it, she did. And I must give credit where credit is due.
Good,
You
good.
know,
But
she makes me look good.
Congratulations.
No, thank you.
This is magnificent. Look at this book.
You know, this for me, and in my wildest dreams, when I started to write a book, by the way, I sold almost 2,000. I want to tell you that you've got a story to tell.
Right.
And for me, I'm grateful that you can be here in the studio. Right. And thank you so much for being here. And
but don't we all, bro? Don't we all have a story to tell?
No.
I find, Guti, of late, I've started to listen to a lot of people.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't come straight out and say what's going on in their mind, in their lives. You have to listen for things. Yes. Because people will give you hints.
No,
you know what I mean?
This is true.
And in order for you to understand somebody, you got to take a step just to listen to their story.
And listening is a skill. You know, and today I'm glad that you're here because I want to listen.
I want to listen to you. I want to listen to you.
Today the spotlight is on Trevor.
No, are there plans to turn this into an audiobook?
We've already turned it into an audiobook.
Oh.
It's incredible. I mean, through Talks Media, we've turned it into an audiobook.
Okay, I'm a bit upset to hear that, and that I was not asked to be the voiceover artist for.
There will be countless opportunities.
Oh, okay.
You know, somebody once said that it is better to be prepared to have an opportunity and not have one, rather than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Oh, so there will always be opportunities.
Yes.
You know, some relationships are destiny relationships.
Yeah.
And this one, I believe, is the destiny relationship. Yes. For you being here, I've heard so much about you. You know, I feel like a groupie.
It's why. And now, I'd never thought I'd meet you. I mean, I'll just say, you know? This is brilliant. Thank you very much for having me, sir.
Trevor, as a public figure, how were you able to mask your struggle as an active user under the public gaze?
You know, as addicts, even now as recovering addicts, we are very manipulative. We will get our way.
That's true.
And we will lie and lie and lie to get our way.
Yeah.
And that's all a part of the deception that we are good at.
Yes.
So hiding things in plain sight became quite easy for me because I created a persona which was over the top.
Yes.
So in normal conversation or normal social setting, I would always be acting on another level which would be deemed strange or peculiar.
Yes.
So that when I am using, it's unjalo vele.
Yeah, my goodness.
Ningamnaki.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a persona I put on, and that persona distanced me from my loved ones because I was trying to distance my usage of drugs from the people that I love and the people that are around me.
So you came up with a system of how to hide it well.
Absolutely.
And
There's a lot of work that goes into using drugs.
No, there is. You know, you mentioned the term manipulative.
Yes.
Drug addicts are incredibly manipulative. You would testify to that, I'm sure. Take me back, Trevor, to the time you first started using. What were the circumstances around that?
Right. Okay, I noticed Guti before. You said Trevor as a public figure, blah, blah, or Quebec. When I started using, it's very important to know that I was not a public figure ngaleso sikhathi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hadn't started in entertainment in any way.
Yes.
Gangisebenza mina call center.
Okay.
Yeah. I was working in a call center at the time. I had just finished working in clothing stores. And then I started using at the call center. It was, for me at the time, my life was, I'm young, I'm living rent-free, grocery-free, and I've got all this money that's coming in every Friday. So I just started using. Because I had a friend who had access to it.
I was going to ask you that in terms of what's
because, listen about big yellow pages. So lo mngani ngangimthanda ngitshela ukuthi hey ukhulu yabona so nami ngifuna ukuba njengaye, you know. Then I started using, and yabona lapho the first time I tried cocaine, excitement was over the top.
Was it your drug of choice? First time was it?
Yes. Cocaine was my drug of choice. And first time I used was amazing. Kagumnandi. And ever since, after that, I've never experienced that first high. Leyo high yokuqala was the best. And every time I've used subsequently after that, was chasing that feeling that I never found again. You'll only find it one time.
What was that feeling?
Yeah. Kwangati, I'm on top of the world. Kwangati, I'm invincible. Kwangati, you can't hurt me. Angikhathali. Ngaphuza kuze use ngadakwa. I am the life of this party. I am the most important person there. People want to listen to whatever I've got to say, no matter how stupid it is. It's a very selfish drug because it's very. The whole time you are on. So for me now, I think cocaine was a thing of wanting to feel important. After ngiyithestile, ngayizwa ukuthi ingenza ngizizwe kanjani.
We are not advertising it, marimnandi.
I felt very important. Nandion. And this is what you find out once you've been to rehab, and then you go to either your 90 and 90 meetings, or if you just go to any meetings, you'll find the NA, Narcotics Anonymous, the meetings, uzobona laphayana ukuthi they speak about it like I'm speaking about it. They glamorize drug like cocaine, and all the stories in the circle, they seem like war stories that people are proud of. You know, all the stories they tell, they feel very proud of them, and it's like, oh, bakumbula the good old days. And the opposite is true of the AA, in my experience, the Alcoholics Anonymous. They go there and they talk about how their life has changed, because the AA is very reliant on religion. So it's the whole choosing a higher power thing.
It's a higher power.
You know what I mean?
From the...
Yes, and people take it quite literal.
Yes.
When I was in rehab, my choice of higher power was the pursuit of knowledge. I said my higher power is a pursuit of knowledge. Not because I knew something special, but because bengazi. And if faith yami ngaleso sikhathi uNkulunkulu I had no relationship naye.
Yeah.
So I was basically denying religion. Ngithi life inzima kanje.
Yes.
Uphi uNkulunkulu
Unkulunkulu.
I'd rather choose the pursuit of knowledge.
No, ngiyakuzwa.
Yeah, well.
Ngiyakuzwa, yeah.
So yes, it does sound like hey, bekumnandi. But this is my warning to people. If you try it, you'll enjoy it. And then it'll wreck your life.
Let's talk about the fine line between...
How you said fine line, cocaine.
when you...
nje umuntu okhumbula idrug.
Bayibiza i-drug talk. No, I see why you're a comedian, man. It's in your veins, it's in your system, man. Yeah. Let's talk about the lines between being an active and an addictive user. At what point did you cross that line?
What, being in active addiction or what, being an addict?
Yes.
Yo, can I tell when the line was crossed? Yo, Abner, can you tell? It's a blur.
You were not using just at parties. I mean, obviously you had to cross a line. You know. I remember Scala kahle. Ngisho Scala kamnandi ukuthi no, it's a casual thing. Akekho oqala athi mina I'm going to be an addict.
Yes.
Yabo?
No uqinisile.
Akekho oqala athi mina I'm going to be a druggie.
Yeah.
A
That's
junkie.
very true.
Yabo?
That's very true.
Sonke sinamandla ukuthi no lento singayicontrol. I'm sure now uqale kanjalo.
Yeah, iqiniso, especially when it comes to cocaine, because the cocaine is very recreational.
It's very recreational.
Yeah, well, it's a sharing thing.
Yeah, it's a sharing thing. No, angekho uyenziwa.
Yeah.
Well, ekuqaleni.
When it is a recreational thing, eyenziwa
Yeah.
wonke umuntu okhona at that place at that time, and then bangayeka.
Yes.
So you say today's a Friday, so let's do today, let's do tomorrow, then Sunday let's do something different.
Let's do something different.
Yeah.
Let's go chill. Let's go to the park. Let's
You know
go
what I mean? That's a recreational user. I think I realized I'm no longer a recreational user.
Yes.
When I got embarrassed about buying and didn't tell anyone else, Guti, I'm going to buy another bag.
Oh.
Yabo la ngaqala ukufika khona.
Yeah.
When sivumelene, okay, so shaya Friday, shaya Saturday, Sunday siyaye.
Yeah.
Yabo come Sunday, hey, mina ngithi hey machita ngicela ukuspace kancane.
Yeah.
Khona into ekumele ngenze. Kanti ngiyobhaya. Because these are safuna ukwenza.
Yeah, safuna ukwenza.
Now it's become my dark secret.
Yeah, no ngiyakuzwa.
Ukuthi angisakhona ukuzibamba just for 6 days. You know what I mean? And then it became everyday use.
So now Trevor, you are addicted now. Masophuma uthi awuthi ngishaya ngilale ngekhona. Now it's no longer recreational.
So we has. You know?
Sure.
It's embarrassing for you now.
It's embarrassing. Obviously, it comes with negative behaviors. What were some of those?
Dishonesty, manipulation. Because uzoqamba amanga ngento eyi-one. But izoku-affecta ngezinto ezibhaya kanjani. Umndeni phela is very close-knit.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be with them, but you ufuna le drug. And the environment is not conducive for drug use in a home.
Yeah.
Kuney'ngane, nangumkakho, mhlawumbe umamezala uvashile, you know. So you leave that comfort that you've worked so hard for, that you contribute monthly to. You leave that comfort. So it's totally so endaweni that you don't need to be. Eflethini eHilbrow because zamukufihla. Yabo? So ukuphendula umbuzo wakho as to when did I notice that I am now an addict was when I started using ngiyi-one.
Now, obviously, you're a father, you're a husband, you're a family man.
At that time.
At that time.
Not much of.
Not much, but what impact did it have on that?
Horrible.
How did it show up? How did it show up on those relationships?
Having no relationship.
No relationship.
Having no relationship. Like when ungahlala phansi nomuntu mhlawumbe asithi sober for that moment of clarity and realize you've got nothing to talk about. You know? Because you haven't created memories. Bongeke, bekheza sibaleke. So sokhuluma ngayo. Angeke sithi hey yakhumbula se-Sun City last weekend. Hey wena wawa laphana emanzini. Ayikho leyo because bongekho. you know?
You know, one of the things, I mean, I'm glad you're on coke because I was on coke.
Right.
But me, I transitioned to crack cocaine. Yeah.
Basic pretty much.
Basic pretty much. Crack cocaine. You know, they're not paying, but your drug of choice is too expensive.
Yeah.
It's too expensive. At least the cocaine crack, you can stretch it.
Yes.
It's a bitch.
Yes,
Excuse the
yes,
French.
it is.
You know, and it.
Very fast round.
And, you know, I had paranoia. Did you have paranoia?
Yes. Yes. The paranoia came in with things like downgrading to cats and things like that, which was a much harsher drug because of the way it's refined and But paranoia beinzima because of up and down and ubalekele uboshwa nani.
Did you see things?
Not hallucinate, but I read situations wrong. Thola ukuthi nabo abantu ngisekwarini nabo abantu baphumela bayazikhulumela bobayi-2 thola ukuthi they glance over every now and again. Yabo mhlambe bazibukela into behind me mhlambe kune-TV emva kwami mina sengitshela ukuthi bakhuluma ngayo.
Tell me, Trevor, what are the lengths that you went to get your fix? Now you're an addict, a bona fide addict now. You don't care for your family, for your and by the way, in Pumalapo, my son was admitted to hospital because he was asthmatic and ubekhanyo ile ntuthu ye crack. Uyabona le ntuthu.
Uphemela endlini babongozi.
No, egarage isikhulu lalela ngishayela egarage. Angisho paranoid. Ushayela egarage le ntuthu le iyahamba ingene endlini. Mayingene endlini na intwana yami lapha abo 2 ekseni ukhanyekile uthatha ilokuzana ufuna ukuthatha le pump yakhe le yabo.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of me giving the pump, guess what I did, my brother? I pushed him back to the bedroom because I was so scared. I was so paranoid. He freaked the shit out of me. And before long, I found myself holding this, holding that, holding this. And I got so paranoid,
Amazing.
man. I couldn't even... And so for you...
Is it in the book?
It's in the book.
Nice.
Here, I'm descriptive. I'm not talking theory or idealism. Here, it's practical in terms of the things that I did. But what were the negative impacts for you? To your well-being, to your mental health? What did they do? The drugs?
The impact it's had in my life is nothing good except one. Using drugs had a negative impact on my life. I've lost 14 years of my life.
How many?
Where 14 years of my life. Yeah.
Damn.
Where I was just messing around and not doing the right thing. I could have deeper connections, you know. But I'm blessed enough to have been given second, third, and fourth chances, where the cases may vary. Nothing good comes of it. Even those fleeting moments of euphoria when you are high, izophela. And iphela kabuhlungu, because if we go into the biology of it, into yenzayo mohogela lento lena, you release the feel-good endorphins in your brain. Your gland, your serotonin, will be depleted. And once that is depleted, I think serotonin makes you feel good. It gives you that feeling of amazing.
Euphoria,
Yes. But it's a gland, so izophela.
Yes.
And mayiphela, that's when you come down.
Yes.
You come down where you're depressed. That's the time where that gland, the serotonin, is replenishing itself. And then you can start feeling good again. Thina besingazenzi izinto njengo-take a 30-minute walk, go to the gym. You know, normal people, that's how they get these feelings.
Adrenaline, correct.
So nothing good, only negative. Only negative. I think the only good thing that came out of it was in the last rehab that I was in. What came back was a memory of an experience that lay dormant for a very long time, and I had covered it up to protect myself. This was me being molested by neighbors at a young age. I blocked it out of my head, but it came out in my last rehab, because that rehab didn't only attack the physical addiction, it got to the root cause, you know? And there's not only one root cause, but people vary.
Well, people vary.
Yes, but for me, there was feelings I hadn't dealt with and buried, you know? I found that having dealt with that, I'm a much better person.
You know? Coach, is there a time when you were scared for yourself? Scared, very scared for yourself, with maybe, you know, given all the interventions that are coming through? I'm sure your family was concerned eventually, you know, as they were watching you deteriorate, you know.
Abner, at the time, I had no fear.
No fear, ne?
Wow,
And this is what drugs give you. They give you a sense of strength. You know, our sabinex, nothing
Invincible.
Invincible. Yeah, it gives you that.
But at the same time, go present, you know. So it's a mess. Yeah.
You know, Trevor. Obviously, everything comes to an end. You know, Mina, I didn't know the extent to which I deteriorated. Okay, I remember. I think my wife called Rahu and Lebo, and I still thought that I had it going on. I'd lost weight. I was emaciated. I wasn't eating. I had a book of number plates that I was keeping, thinking people are following me. If they are looking for me and
My number plate.
yeah. I had a book, man. You know, it's in my book. I've got a guy. He's a
I
friend
can't
of
wait
mine.
to read this book.
It's like a prayer, but it's not nice.
Nah.
You know, yeah. Talk to me about your attempt at recovery. How did that look like? Like your first
My attempt at recovery. Okay. Out it. Out here.
Qiniso of which.
Attempt at recovery. The first 2 rehabs. It was not an attempt at recovery. It was an attempt at getting out of trouble from my loved ones.
Addicts will always remind addicts.
I was having a great time. I didn't see anything wrong with it the first 2 times.
So somebody pushed you to go to rehab. Circumstances.
Yes. It was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so rehab. Sharp.
Right.
Yeah. Get them off my back.
So that's the reason why it didn't work.
Yes.
It was for them. It was not for you.
Yeah, I was in trouble.
Siyafana mina nawe, by the way. Nami, it was just to get rid of people who okay, ngifuna ngibengcono. Nami ngiyafuna le rehab. Even though Human Sikela came and Lebo, they said you're going to this rehab. Went, yeah, no, I'll do it for them. You know,
you were so blessed to have such a support structure.
I don't know, you know, and then the second one, it was my attempt, you know, and because it was getting worse. But the third one was my turning point. Where was your turning point? Which one? Where awuyeli bantu uyaziyela manje wena?
The final rehab, the S3, I chose to go, and that was my rock bottom moment when I realized.
So what were the reasons that made you to go there?
My ex-wife, my wife at the time,
yes,
was fed up, and she didn't want our kids seeing me in that way, or me being around the kids in that way, and gave me an ultimatum: either you choose your drugs or you'll never see your kids again. Yeah, well, that changed me.
So just help me.
And wait, because you did, sorry,
yes.
You did mention ukuthi thina mina nawe singakhuluma sibe grand in but umuntu obukele lana, they need the answers.
Yes.
Ne? So mangithi mina my rock bottom.
Yes.
You must understand, guys, ukuthi my rock bottom ahlukile for everybody.
Yes.
It doesn't have to get that bad.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Whatever makes you feel uncomfortable about your life,
yes,
take that as a sign.
Yeah, correct.
Change yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So the circumstances around your rock bottom. You mentioned your ex-wife and your children. Is that the reason that propelled you to go and find an intervention in a rehab?
Yeah, it was a reason. And I had ignored many other things. Arrest, hospitalization. I was like, fine. Get Tanyan. Okay. How long? 4. Sure.
And then obviously you go to rehab. And first day in rehab? Difficult?
Nah, not difficult. I was ready for anything because I didn't know what to expect. Ngoba manje, in my head was like, I'm going to go get helped. Other times, I was like, I'm going to get away from labantu batiyeka. You know, so I was going in there, but this time I was like, I don't know what to expect because, you know,
What drove you? That there was a big push with you because you want to change your life. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for your kids or your ex-wife or wife at the time. You're doing it for yourself. So you get there. You obviously, you know, when you're high. I mean, sometimes when I was high, when I dealt with difficult situations, I preferred to be high because I don't have to deal with the drama. You know, now you're in rehab, you're finding yourself there, Axanama tracks. Now you are in touch with yourself. What happens there?
What happens, I protect myself as every wounded person does.
Yes.
Even a homeless dog, if uyizela uthe izobaleka. But uma uzeka nje iyakusondela cautiously, you know? Got to be very cautious about these things. And I was very guarded, you know what I mean? And for me, being guarded, into ngisabayo was a person getting too close. But when you are too close to my emotions, my feelings, I recoil because I think you have the capacity to hurt me. So, yeah. Now the thing, what happened in rehab, when I'm faced with an uncomfortable situation, I make fun of it and I start doing jokes and comedy and blah, blah, blah to divert from these hard feelings, you know? Asikhulume about your relationship nethama lakho, Trevor. Ngizolacha ngithi champion loyo we hide and go seek. Yabo? But izwa into engishilo. It's listening.
Yes.
Hayi loyo i-champion ye hide and go seek. So ithama lakho wena belicashela mfande wami, you know?
Understand.
So khona into ekhona lapho. Awungitshele ngethama lakho. Yini eshodayo la. Yabona?
Yeah.
Sengibalekelile mina.
Yeah, we
but if you interrogate it, you can see that I'm running away from my feelings.
No, correct.
Yabo? So baze basho nabo. And they're so smart, Lapan. But when, Trevor, you are not allowed to joke at all. In your whole 6 weeks.
Because when your comedic life was masking the real Trevor.
Created a persona again to protect the real me.
So without comedy, they're stripping you of a gift.
Yeah. You must remember, this is something that I developed in ngisakhula. Ngingane mlazi, ngangisidudla ngigqoka ibuko, ngifunda eModel C, ngihlala elokishini. Ngangigconwa njalo. So for me, getting bullied. So for me, it was my protection from bullies.
Yes.
Ukulahisa. Comedy.
Now when a back stripper, the real you.
Laid bare.
And then what made you turn around without that? How did you cope in rehab without your weapon? What made you surrender to the process?
A new experience. I was open to a new experience. In that moment of clarity, I was open to new because I'd experienced everything.
Yeah.
You know, I experienced so much in my short life that nothing's shocking, nothing's painful, I was numb at the time. I enjoyed the pain, the discomfort. Discomfort, not pain.
Discomfort. Yeah.
I enjoyed the discomfort of dealing with me. You know, because but here are your cards, right? Crazy age
wakho.
And it felt good. Khala, you know, and they already be sharp because it was both male and female, all kinds of addictions, from shopping addiction, gambling, sex,
pornography.
Yonke was there. And it was male and female, young and old, all kinds of, you get directors, you get CEOs, you get musicians.
But under that roof, you and your father.
All the same, you know? And I haven't had an experience where people are open with each other and it doesn't matter class. You know, good men ngiphume emlazi, wena uphuma esentini, kafana lana, you know? Sisesitoksini sonke for icala eliyi-1. Yeah.
Our conversation will continue shortly. As you watch our podcast today, you may be facing challenges with one or other form of addiction, or know someone who actually is. Trust me, I've been there, and I want to help you. Visit abner.africa to download a complimentary workbook designed to support your journey toward overcoming addiction. This workbook filled with exercises and activities, has helped me and countless others to stay clean. It's absolutely free of charge at abna.africa. Start your path to recovery now. Let's conquer addiction together. And remember to log on to abna.africa.
I mean, so many facets of your story are fascinating and are very interesting. I almost want to ask you, tell me about your rehab life. Why did it work for you?
I found now it's like an advert for House, but they are honestly very good because they don't treat the physical thing, and they delve into your past. They delve into your emotional well-being and your heart and your feelings and things like that, and they had time for different things, because people suffer from different things. So some meetings are both male and female. Some meetings are for men. I really enjoyed the men's one because
why you enjoy the men's?
Because of my past.
Okay.
Because I grew up without a father.
Yes.
Because I was molested at a young age. Because I've been emasculated.
Yes.
I needed to experience men in a different light.
My goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I've always struggled, actually, with being around men.
Talk to me about your transitioning away from shame. Because with our past, in terms of what might have happened to you, we tend sometimes to blame ourselves, to think that I'm the one who's guilty, and the self-inflicting and self-aggrandizement of saying, I'm worthless, I'm at fault, and that comes with a lot of shame, a lot of all kinds of emotions. How did you deal with such, and how did you transition to that? Because obviously when you go to rehab, after 3-4 days, the drugs are out, the craving is out, you have to deal with your behaviors. How did you move past, the shame, if you had any kind of stuff like that in the past?
The shame will always be there. And I've always been hard on myself. I've always blamed myself because I feel like that gives me power, gives me control of it. Because if I'm not to blame for my actions, so blame the next person, how am I going to hold them accountable? I'd rather be accountable for the mistakes I've made, and be able to say to my children, don't make the mistakes I made, but it's very frustrating. They will still,
they will still.
You know what I mean?
They will.
So for me now, I take accountability because I've learned and I have this life I live today because of the mistakes I made. I took my addiction and I turned it into a positive, I produced a TV show called Sober Companion for SABC3, which then went on Netflix. That is an amazing thing, And I do believe that from my mistakes, other people can heal and succeed in life from learning from what I messed up.
Did rehab teach you something about yourself in terms of that you didn't know before that you can take forward?
That I didn't know.
About yourself, about who Trevor, obviously it's also part of self-introspection, self-assessment. In my rehab, I did a life story. When I came in, they gave me a notebook and said, do a life story about yourself. When I wrote stuff there, I got shocked, And when it came to step 4, which is you make a moral and fearless inventory of yourself, they give you a notebook and they say, go and write. I went and wrote almost 400 pages by pen on myself. This is how I discovered the writing in me.
Oh.
Because they take it from you, and then after my treatment was 8 months.
Sure.
8 months. It was actually 5 months initially. Then they said, you're not ready, so I did another 3 months. So total cumulative was 8 months in. So there's things that I've taken. What are things that?
Pablo. 8 months.
Escobar.
Pablo now. Yeah.
This was my 3. what are things that might have been revealed through rehab about yourself that you, if any, Trevor? It might be that there's nothing. But
I think what I've learned is I'm way more patient than I give myself credit for.
Yes.
I didn't think I could be this patient because everything in my life and about me has been fast, has been quick. My career, my choice of stand-up comedy. When you do stand-up comedy, the gratification is immediate because the laugh is immediate. Unlike, for example, shooting a TV show. This podcast, we are not getting the immediate gratification of people commenting on this conversation. We will see it in a month's time when they comment on the comment section. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So this day at a time thing for me, I was like, I will not be able to do this shit. And then I did. A day at a time. It's just normal. It's like...
One day at a time.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull. Like, let me not do drugs today. Just for today. That's one exercise.
Yeah, spoon exercise.
Yeah. Nah, you're not by
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
No, I knew Gucci. I'll never go back on drugs. Man, call the phone number.
Yeah.
Because I had a phone.
But that, you know that shit.
But Ben Yas.
I mean, I like I say, I spent 8 months in rehab.
Yeah.
I came back. I met my dealer after I've completed 1 year, 1 month. Ne? I met him at my son's school closer to where I used to use in Benoni. So he's there. He says, hello. And I said, I got so scared, man.
Yeah.
And I ran away. You know what's scary? Is that even after a year, 1 month, I still remembered his number. And that craving of wanting to go back to use came like a ton of bricks, man. Yeah. So I wanted to pick up the phone and the guilt, and now I was living it, I was hiding all the behaviors.
The dreams started after that.
Now tell me,
they're using dreams.
They're using dreams, they start to come. One time talk about using dreams.
Yeah.
I dreamt I used, and I was sweating. I got up, I said, Abner, what the F have you done?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
And I woke up and I realized that it was a dream.
But you still feel the shame for actually having that in your head.
Correct.
Why?
I felt like I've relapsed. I felt like, man,
why
I'm back.
I'm
like, damn. Drugs are a demon, man.
Yeah.
They're a demon. But let me ask you a question. You come out of 2 rehabs where you relapsed. And then you're in the third.
Oh, straight away. Oh, boom. Straight away. Like a true user. Bengas blaming me.
Yeah.
Bengithi bacabanga ngihamba ngescooter lethu. Bacabanga abantu bazongihlalisa namaroto. Ekhanya. Ike, yeah. Hey. That's why I'm chicken a bunch of boys.
Yeah. But now on the third one, when you came out.
When I came out.
You knew that you are done with drugs. Tell me about, the first day, second day is very difficult. How did you know with absolute certainty? Because you've got a history of 2 rehabs where you came out, boom, you used. This third one that you go to, you come out. How are you feeling when you get discharged? Do you feel energized, empowered, ready to conquer the world? Or there's a touch of scariness with each time? Or is that one day at a time?
I was quite confident. I was quite confident about life in the future. And I learned a lot, and I felt like a different person. I felt equipped with tools to deal with life. And I felt very grateful for being given a second chance with family, with work, with everything. On the way home, because I was picked up by my ex-wife, my wife at the time. And then she said, you can drive. So I drove. Remember, at this time, the rehabbers told your family and friends, don't give him cash. He can't carry an ATM card, all these precautions. No? So it felt good being in control of a vehicle. Small, but it gave me back control of something. No? And then, Masiently, I got lost. I turned 2 streets before my house.
Yeah.
Ngathi, wow, bengingekho la. Even with mind, I was totally in rehab. Bengacabangi next indlu wasn't even thinking about it. I was totally present within my rehab.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And now you're out of rehab. What adjustments do you have to make sure that your consolidated life of recovery is real?
It's getting rid of friends that you've used with. And
that must have been tough.
No.
Not tough?
No. What was tough was getting rid of the people who knew I use but don't use. Because those were my enablers.
Yeah.
You know, who were nice.
People who knew you use.
But they themselves did
But
not
they
use.
themselves don't use.
Yes. I believe those are enablers because they know, but they don't
they don't call you out.
Yes. Because for many reasons. Maybe they just really like your company. Maybe blah, blah, blah. Maybe for them, your behavior is not bad. But that enabled me to have a safe environment to use around them. Now, that safe environment to use is wrong for me. So I needed to get rid of those. And that is what hurt, you know? Because they're not in this, really. You know? So,
Yeah, correct.
but they have to.
Correct.
For me. Because I can get rid of the ones I use with. But then, mangas Sydney, I use. Songs of Shailangiwan.
Yeah.
And you see, no man jump,
uzothula nje angeke atshele umuntu uzobamba le secret yami. Okay, angitshele, you get rid of the negative ones bayahamba lapho, done. Obviously me and you cut from the same cloth, lots of destructive behaviors along the way, damaged relationships. How does Trevor Gumbi make amends with those people?
You know that step, it's a very difficult one because the step reads, I will make a list of all the people I have wronged and make amends and apologize to them if doing so does not harm them further.
Yes, agreed.
There are not many things that you have messed up in life. Waziswa umuntu omunye kabuhlungu, where going back won't open that wound again.
Yeah.
There are not many instances. Sometimes you must cut your losses and move on. Because you hurt me 5 years ago. Now you're coming back 5 years later. Over something that I have not dealt with.
Yes.
But sengavuma.
Yes, sengavuma.
That was a very difficult thing to
and
make
there's no way,
amends.
this is the most difficult step. There's no way to tell and to gauge the reaction that you will pick up from those people.
No.
Are there places where you went with good intentions, but you received negative feedback?
Yeah. And that's why I don't like that step a lot. You know, it's awful.
It is awful.
Because I tried to mend a relationship with a father who didn't want me, you know, with or without the drug problems. The drugs were not a problem. It was just, lo mfana ngamfuni, wenza ama-drugs nakhona. You know? But now it was, lo mfana ongangifuni, wenza ama-drugs, and now ngiyangilandelela. You know, that hurt. Yeah. It's not an easy road, and it's best to stay away from all forms of addiction at the end of the day. But if you do so find yourself in addiction, know ukuthi usizo lukhona. You know? You just need patience with yourself. And mina, ngaqala ukuzithanda. And that was my weapon against my destructive behavior. Manje ngiyazithanda, ngiyaziqhenya ngami, you know, ngihambela phezulu. So there's not many things that can convince me to do anything.
Correct.
You know?
Or that could bring you down.
No.
We've learned the tools of the trade.
Your thoughts are your thoughts on me. It doesn't change my reality. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How do you obviously there's an element of self-love and forgiveness is the big part of of recovery and healing. Self-love and self-acceptance, you know, forgiving yourself. How did it look like for you? How do you cultivate it continuously? Because it's not just a seasonal thing. I don't know if you understand.
No, no, totally, because it's not an isolated thing. Into emele uqhubeke ngayo for the rest of your life, and it's a tool needed to survive. Uthanda.
Ukuthanda.
Because ngokuthanda, I've developed patience with myself because I don't get everything right the first time. You know? And instead of blaming myself, going, we sleep, my man. Can't get this right. You know? Now I'm like, oh wow, ngizame food.
In the silent battles of addiction, every hopeful story can be a key to liberation. As we take a quick pause from our chat, I invite you to step through The Door, my memoir in which I give an uncensored account of my journey through drug addiction hell. Each chapter is a testament to the strength we all possess, even when hope seems like a distant light. From the gripping darkness of substance abuse to the uplifting journey towards clarity, my story is laid bare, raw, and real. Whether you are touched by addiction or walk alongside someone who is, your journey to hope can start today. It's available now as an ebook, audiobook, and paperback on TalksTV.Africa. Unlock the narrative that could redefine your understanding of addiction and recovery. Get my book, The Door, by logging into TalksTV.Africa today. Choose the key that fits your lock. Choose life.
You know what I appreciate? There's so many things I can ask you. I want to talk about celebrity, lifestyle, recovery, coming out. Me and you know a lot of
Famous
public who are hiding in the closet, who are dying a slow death because they don't want the shit to be known, to come out there. Now I'm talking to an incredible, talented comedian, actor, writer, director extraordinaire who's sitting in front of me. I'm baffled that you're talking so openly about it. And I'm asking myself, let's talk about that. The pressure, the discrimination. What have you found? You know, you're recovered now. Have you found acceptance? Have you found rejection?
Acceptance and rejection, yes, those do exist. But the reasons that you and we speak so openly, and you wrote a book about it, is that we know that at least one person was a total Caesar from this, from experiencing the book, hearing me speak openly about this. Obviously, I'm still very afraid of many things, but I know I can get through it because I've been through so much before. In the life of celebrity, I feel that people are using drugs as a crutch. You know, you are extremely talented. You're a musician, you fill up concert halls all across the world, and you're getting paid handsomely for it, but you're now doing drugs. And your excuse is that, no, it's calm my nerves going on stage and blah, blah, blah. It's just, it's
hogwash, man.
And it's destructive behavior to yourself and to your career and to your fans. You know what I mean?
Toolbox. Do you have a toolbox of recovery, arsenal, recovery?
Abantu bahlukile.
I know. That's why I'm asking, because abantu bahlukile. And ukuthi, some people are soft, some people are hard. So
mina ngihamba ngokuthi angeke ngitshelwe enye indoda mina. Ngihamba ngokuthi mina ngcono kunawe.
Yakuzo.
Yeah. Mina ngcono kunawe. Ngayeka i-drug mina. And never look back. And that's just like how I am. I make things a competition, you know?
Do you regret having picked up the first line?
No.
Regrets.
Nothing good came of it then, but I'm loving teaching about it. I'm loving meeting you. This is a relationship that I know is going to go very far, but you're going to have to work on this mustache. I'm not good. No, lay down his hammer. Sengizovana nawe kuthiwe ubala umjito wedevu. Sekumele ngiqalele phansi ke na uphuma kwathema.
Ngisuze.
Hayi isuse.
Angosusa fowena ngosusa. Akekho mina nawe siyakhulu.
Noma ungayiblowa. Ibe la kunyana.
Yazi ngizotshela enye frontman bathu Brajoji ngizomtshela ngenze Brajoji bathi ngishuzele into yami.
Ngathi traffic copy apartheid.
Okay, awungitshele ke where's Trevor now? Are you remarried?
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so happy. We celebrated our 3-year anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah. It's very nice. It's very nice. I'm happy. Yeah. And I think I'm so ecstatically happy because I can provide love.
Yes.
You know? Yes. I'm not about physical, I'm not about worldly possessions anymore.
Yes. Got you.
Clothes, cars, houses, it's not there. And with the love I have for myself, then I can pour into another person's cup. But if my cup's not full, I can't give my wife the happy life she has now. You know, I'm happy with myself, so she's happy.
Yeah. And how many children?
4 that I know of. Abanye. Khumbula ekhaya. 4.
Hey, lo wathi unenhloko kaTrevor.
Alisifana nami insizwe zonke. Yeah, I'm very happy, very happy.
Do your children understand where you've been?
Yes. Yes.
And the journey that you are in now in recovery?
Yes, look, their mother and I, we are very good at co-parenting, so we do try to speak very openly, and my news is obviously all over the internet, so even if I didn't tell them, they would have read about it. But I think it was my responsibility to tell them.
Is it important to celebrate your sobriety publicly for you?
For me, no. Because I stopped counting with the drugs.
Yes.
But I'm counting now with the liquor because it's new to me.
Yes.
It wasn't originally my drug of choice, but I did realize that it is affecting me adversely.
Yes.
So I had to quit. I stopped counting when I reached 6 months because it was no longer new.
Counting from?
0. That's where people count from.
Yes. I don't know. Hey, English.
It wasn't your friend. Never your friend.
Mina ngibuya ku konje yini le not born before technology, but ngibuya ku apartheid education.
I'm a secondary.
I'm a tertiary. Yeah, so from alcohol is what, 6 months?
Oh, no, it's much longer.
Much longer?
Yeah. November 7. So it will be 1 year from drinking alcohol. So I stopped drugs. But because liquor was never my drug of choice, I stupidly thought it won't affect me.
Yeah.
But it did. Then I had to quit. I've realized this recently.
Right.
So now I stopped 7th of November drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
It'll be 1 year this coming November. And I've realized the difference it's made in my life.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And the similarities.
It's also a mood-altering substance.
Yeah.
So it has a tendency to want to drag you back into the game.
I didn't take it seriously and make it dumb.
Yeah.
Because it's not the drug. Well, it is. But when you combine it with my addictive personality, you must abuse a leon.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, well, because even telling you, I just take things overboard. Yeah.
What advice do you have for somebody out there who's struggling to keep a proper recovery plan for themselves?
Please don't be too hard on yourself.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
No, we all make mistakes. And you do deserve all the second chances. You do deserve it. And there are people who love you enough to give you those chances.
Beautiful.
But you need to realize how manipulative you are to the people around you and the people who love you.
My goodness.
Because we make that mistake. We take a person's love and we manipulate that to serve our purposes.
Yo, Trevor. Profound words.
I'm amazing.
What makes Trevor, and this is my last question, my brother. I'm going to ask you privately. What makes you choose life every day? Because you are choosing life. Every time when you wake up, you are choosing life. What makes you, because you can, let me park there. What makes you choose life every day?
Makes me choose life every day. Realizing my blessings. Realizing what's really important. Ngoba mfethu, we're all striving, sisekodi, trying to make all that to live the dream. And it's all about money, cars, fancy clothes and stuff. I've been there. I've had it. I've had very fancy cars. I've had very fancy clothes. I've had very large houses. And it didn't give me happiness. I'm so happy with having a good relationship with my kids, a good relationship with my family.
Yes.
Because all of that suffered. Yes. Obviously, I like money. Obviously, I like the comfort. But what's really important?
Yes, it's no longer a priority.
No.
Yeah, it's no longer a priority. It's now secondary.
Yeah.
What's important is relationships. What's important is family.
Go back to celebrating. I want to celebrating abantu. We always have utshwala and drugs present. Since they celebrate. But now uyazikhohlwa izinto obuzenza in those hours celebrating in life yakhe. Sesiphuzile sengikhohlwe. Hey, kambe izolo senzeni? Yabo, I'm finding it better now to remember and to be present in the moment. You know? Another thing that Scientology taught me was sit through the pain, which I've turned into...
Sit through the pain?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So, when you are sitting with somebody here and you're not moving and you say, I've got a cramp, I've got a literal cramp. But you know, do you want to start from zero? So sit through that pain, feel it, understand the pain. I said, you've got a pain in your shoulder.
Yeah.
I said, don't do this. Don't touch it.
Cramp.
Experience that pain. The pain is
Yeah, I know it for sure.
I can't forever.
No, true.
You know?
True.
But awuzame mawuphethwe ikhanda awuzame ungaphuza manje ungaphuza grandpa ungenze next hlala nje nalo lelo khanda kancane uyizwe lo pain uyizwe ukuthi kubhlungu ngakephi plus wena unesiphongo esikhulu so kubhlungu ku sector 4
and now I really am sitting with a comedian.
No ngizama ukuchazela
my brother. You know, how do you process your pain and emotion even now?
No, pain, but I think we need to understand it.
Yeah.
You know, because pain doesn't go away, actually. All these drugs, everything you get from a pharmacy, it doesn't stop pain. It stops your brain receptors from recognizing the pain. So the pain will always be there. What has been stopped by your painkiller that you ingested was those pain receptors from recognizing the pain is still going on. So forget ukuthi unenkinga la emhlabeni sihlezi zibe khona. Wena just stick the root.
I don't want.
Akazange athi mbuzo ogcina. Bona ma. Ngabani? So wesithulo over.
I know Guti, you've got this incredible drive. To rebuild we are on a trajectory of re-engineering your life.
Right.
And do you use your experience as well with your audience in terms of sharing your journey?
I do. But you've got to remember that it's not always accepted.
Yes.
This kind of thing, the trauma, the pain, the helping people get out of addiction is not always well received or welcomed. Thank you. Yeah, well, so
because there's people who still enjoy it.
Yeah.
For us, Trevor, my brother, you know, I'm grateful. They say destiny. You know, there are some relationships that are destiny relationships.
Right.
There are some defining moments that will redefine the rest of your life. And I'm grateful. You know, I always tell a friend every day that, you know, a friend of mine who called me this morning, he said, hey man, I'm going through tough time. I said, please qualify that. For now, I told him, because tough times, they never last. So say for now. So for me now, I
Quite
found
big on positive affirmation.
no, too much. Yeah, when I came back from rehab, that's all I ate and lived.
But then you fell back on the church.
Yeah, correct.
Because you grew up in the church.
Yeah, correct. I fell back.
Do you not feel that you might have 13 stepped into church? Because the 12 steps of recovery sharp are there.
Yeah.
And then we are warned about the 13 stepping. Like sometimes people will choose gym and then be addicted to gym.
Yes.
You don't find that you have used religion as your crutch now?
I separate religion from a personal relationship with my God.
Sorry, please explain.
Yeah, religion is man-made. Is certain rituals that you have to follow.
Okay.
I consider a personal relationship with God, with Christ, personal. So my affirmations are inspired strongly by my faith.
All right.
So my point of departure in anything that I do, every day when I wake up in the morning, I say I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Just for today, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to move in a positive light. I'm going to attract positive people.
Yeah.
I'm going to have positive things happen to me. Let me tell you the truth.
That's nice.
There are some days where it goes pear-shaped. But because my affirmations are my strength, I bounce back.
And they're not man-made.
They're not man-made. They are not from some encyclopedia or for some book written, 12 ages ago. It's my personal relationship with my God. And,
See that? You gotta teach
and
that.
how I relate with you. Today, I said, let me meet a few people that will impact my life.
Right.
You don't know how you have impacted my life. I don't consider you a guest at Choose Life podcast. I consider you a friend that we're going to do great exploits together.
Thank you.
So today I've gained something. So I go home, I write in my journal to say, Trevor Gumbi is a person on Friday I met. And I look forward to working with you and taking
That's
this journey.
perfect. When you write in that journal, please also include that when I had coffee and muffins, there was no milk for me. So remember that.
Yep. Ndoda yabona ndoda umuntu angahlala la ahleke ubusuku bonke. My brother, this is my book I've written. It's called The Door and Addict's Journey, and I've penned every single page. I talk about everything. I talk about good and bad, my relationship with my wife, my children, rehabs I've been. I'm graphically descriptive.
Wow.
In conveying a message of hope to somebody struggling with addiction. And I'm saying this book will transform your life. Trust me when I tell you, not because I've written it, but because of the content that's in it. And what inspired this content is my journey with addiction. And I'm alive, so I'm giving this to you as a copy, my brother.
Oh, thank you.
You are a blessing to me. You think you have come to impact me and our audience. You have impacted me in more ways than you can ever imagine.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
And thank you so much for coming.
Kanti umuntu bekashaya ama-cocaine namakhehla. Lo muntu lo bekasethephu eshaya i-cocaine ne-gout.
Trevor.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I just want to thank you there at home for watching. I'm telling you, together we're going to impact generations to come. Let's band together. Let's share. Let's make sure we invite people to watch this show, record it, tape it, share it. We're going to transform this globe together. Thank you so much for joining us in our room. Choose Life. And remember, your host, Abna Mariri, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for watching Choose Life, the podcast. Please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below. Remember to also click the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. There are more Choose Life conversations on YouTube. Just click on one of the thumbnails on the screen to continue watching. Thanks for choosing us, and we'll see you in the next episode as we choose life together.